to episode 15. Episode 14 was a very, very short one. 15 is going to be the same. We're going to touch on new facility and facility expansion / investment sales triggers, which kind of circles back to, I think, episode 13, where we talked about new offices, R&D tech hub, center of excellence, but very slightly different in the approach. So I will hand over to Biff to kick things off with new facility in general.
Yeah, nice. So new facility, can be a bit of a weird one to a degree because it's very specific to some sectors. So you'll often see this potentially within a lot of like engineering firms, manufacturing. There may be some, again, kind of cross lines with the R&D tech hubs and things that we discussed before. But ultimately, no matter what the business is, what it does signify is a clear indicator of where this company wants to grow. So this may be from, again, a specific product or perhaps a specific region where they're going to start doubling down and ultimately start to ramp up their hiring, ramp up their sales arms, but ultimately looking for, again, further revenues within the different regions. So it can be a bit of, cross industry to some extent, but it will be quite niche and, again, depending on what your product is or who it is that you're selling into. It may be, a trigger that you want to track or one that you do not.
Okay, then. So new facility, I guess, like you said, we've spoken about new offices, branches, R&D, tech hubs, and as soon as a company, I guess, commits to investing in that new facility, the chances are you're going to get a very good indication of the direction of that business as well.
Exactly that, yeah. So this is where really you'll start to see, that type. This is where you'll really. It's
all right for those that are watching. Nick's got a 10 weeks old, 12 weeks old,
today.
10 weeks old black Labrador puppy who's just woken up. So if you're wondering what he's looking at or what you can hear in the background, it's a puppy.
So he tries to nick some logs out the fire. But so again, so what it will do, I say, is really indicate exactly where that company is planning on doubling down. So, it might be after that period of where they've had, reveal growth, for argument's sake, and alongside their initial hub of staff, they now may be looking to actually open up a new facility that's going to help anything from perhaps, again, new R&D. It may be new actual, production of products or services that they're looking to outroll, but ultimately it will then probably be put alongside that initial hub where they've got products and everything else, much closer to home to obviously help their speed to market.
Okay, so the second part that we were going to touch on is facility expansion or investment, which I guess is similar, perhaps maybe not as big of a commitment, albeit you could double the size of an existing site rather than buying or investing in a much smaller site elsewhere. So do you want to just delve into expansion and investment of facilities?
Yeah, again, so with this really, there's a couple of different things, probably very similar in terms of the types of markets that this will be focused around. But this can come in a number of different ways. And what you might see specific to those sectors is actually the announcement of people saying that they've received investment. But that investment in those instances will be very, very specific in terms of going towards, expansion of certain facilities or perhaps, the opening of new facilities. So that investment, rather than very much being a cash injection within, let's say, a standard SaaS business where that goes solely towards, recruitment and product, this will go actually towards, perhaps like rental costs or building costs of those new facilities. So that's something that you'll quite often see within those sectors. And likewise, other bits that can just help to back that up is the pure expansion of those as well. So, again, following potentially that, growth revealed option or, where they're starting to really ramp up their hiring within certain locations or facilities. What you'll start to see then is actually, again, once that market fit's been there or perhaps the demand for their products has, increased significantly, ultimately they are going to have to improve or increase their floor space, their production and everything else to fit the demand. So this then will look at, again, whether that's, when I talk around expansion of that facility, perhaps it's actually, physically making that facility much bigger. And again, helping to reach that demand.
And it's a very good indication if you're doubling down on a particular facility or particular area of your business that you're seeing a good amount of success in that area, which again is another indication of, I guess, direction of the business for the next 6 to 12 to 3 years, 5 years, right?
Exactly that. They're not going to be investing or doubling down, perhaps building extensions onto their already facilities. That's not something they're doing for a short-term gain. This is much more now around, much bigger strategies moving forward over the years to come. Probably a good example of one very close to home here is, as you go out towards Bristol, Amazon, they built their brand new kind of distribution hub from there. And actually, what has been, I suppose, the knock-on effect of that, they've actually had to build in new link roads, new bridges over the dual carriageway and everything like this. So, typically once a business chooses to double down, there's probably much bigger things at play, but it's much longer-term strategy in terms of why they've chosen to invest in that specific space.
Okay, brilliant. So in terms of tracking new facility expansion, again, is it a case of monitoring, the standard company update channels? So company owns, that would be their websites, LinkedIn, maybe press releases, that sort of stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. Press releases will probably be a really good one for this, as well as tracking, I say, around those investment plans, because they will be announced within similar forums with that. But yeah, certainly like big publications, companies will want to be shouting about this, because ultimately, again, they've got the demand for this product, and this is going to enable them to service that even better. So they're going to shout about it. They're going to let their customers know and everybody else around. So yeah, typically in any of those similar spaces, that are good places to keep an eye out.
Okay, brilliant. So another very short and sweet episode talking about new facility and facility expansion or investment sales triggers. Obviously, if you want to find out more, we have a What Are Sales Triggers piece on the website. Go and check it out. All these videos will be in that very long sort of 116 different sections blog, which is really, really useful. In the next recording, which will be another short and sweet one, we're going to be talking about new business. So we will catch you in the next episode.